Hey, good morning, guys. Mig here from Hopper Adventures. It's time to get rock and rolling. We've got some great weather on the forecast, and I'm sure you guys are chomping at the bit for this weekend's adventure. This video is synthesizing down months worth of planning to keep you safe and to have a good time. So please take the time to watch the whole video. Let's look first at the map of the course. This isn't the ride with GPS, but this shows some of the key points that are important. Logat Park, start and finish, the very dangerous and sharp and narrow corners descending into Ore Springs, feed zone 1, the bridge, Wooley's Pass, feed zone 2. So feed zone 1, feed zone 2. We'll talk a little bit more what to expect at feed zone 1 and feed zone 2 in just a moment. Note the approach for start navigation. Please take Low Gap Road to North State Street, left on Ore Springs. The folks from the vineyard here in Ukiah so graciously have allowed us to proceed down or through their vineyards. At the finish, it will be clear there that you can proceed back to podium, after party, and clean clothes. Registration will be Friday night if you can make it up at the Holiday Inn Express 6 to 9 or Saturday at the high school. If you make it Friday, we have a ticket for you guys for a free beer with your meal at the Ukiah Brewing Company. They're donating 5% of the proceeds from whatever we spend there to the NorCal Cycling League. At registration, you'll see this sign. Last year, we had a bike picked off, stolen, as well as the last low gap at the park. So at events, as you all know from the Bay Area, or when you're not at an event, you're being watched. So please lock your bike or keep it with you. You'll have a link to look at this map in more detail in the email I'm sending along with this YouTube. It shows you where to park, registration, where the sponsors will be, and where you can make your NorCal League donation drop with Vanessa, as well as a bottle drop for Feed Zone 1 with the specialized van, starting staging, finish, portos, lunch, and podium. It also shows you where to find the hotel, where the Feed Zone 1 is, and also Ukiah Brewing Company. A closer look at the parking area here. So there's also a wrestling tournament going on. So we'll be sharing the parking lot. If this is full, and if you have it in your heart to park out of the way, this Despina Drive on both sides, right and left, there's tons of parking. So you can go down and set up your zone over there. We'll have porta potties in the middle here. This is where, if you need a mechanic, we'll have the folks from Specialized NorCal Trailhouse Bike Peddler there. Also where you can drop off your donations with Vanessa for NorCal. If you want to leave a bottle, you'll also leave it with the NorCal van, Specialized van, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Notice something different from last year is that this is where the taco trucks will be to open up more room at Low Gap Park. You line up here in the grass, grab your food, and then come on over to grab a drink and hang on out at the park. When you ride over to the start, this is different. We are using Industry Drive for our staging and not on Ore Springs. The star indicates the front, the entry onto Ore Springs, and we have porta potties in the back. Please use them. We will have staging A-frames with ribbon, and we will enforce that you are in there, not taking up the rest of Industry Road, not lining up on Ore Springs Road. It's a mass start. Each event, I'm thinking carefully, our team is thinking carefully, what is the safest, best way to start? If we were to do categories, there would be too much overlap catching people on the descent into Ore Springs. So we have a 20+ minute climb to sort things out. Ride with GPS map. Make sure you have this downloaded. It's probably most definitely the simplest grasshopper in terms of turns. You have a left here and you have a left here. That is it. You have 2 left turns all day. Of course, if you don't know the area, it doesn't quite seem that simple, but it truly is. With the exception of the go around of the bridge here at Wooley's Pass, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Make sure you have downloaded the most recent version of this. There are sometimes, if you're listening to the audio clues of this one, sometimes it tells you you're off course, but you're staying on this one road, low gap, all the way to the second feed zone before descending down Miller Ridge. Traditionally, the low gap continued from here into town, but this year we're going left on Miller Ridge to Masonite. This is the feed zone, so we'll talk about that. Notice how small it is. So we'll have a couple porta potties here. If you're dropping off a bottle, they'll be set here for you to grab. There will be no bottle hand-ups. We'll have tables with scratch as well as water to fill up. You may decide just to carry your bottles and get through the whole day on 2 to 3 bottles. That's up to you, or stop and fill up. They're not giving hand-ups. And be cool in the feed zone. I don't know how else to say it. I know that sometimes in the mix of things it's difficult to do so, but that's what we're going to expect of you. Be your best self right here. Okay. There'll also be food from Joji Bar, Goo, and some other snacks for you guys. On the morning of, as we told you guys, please make some donations to NorCal for clothing. Though it feels like spring, winter's coming back, and there's always so many riders looking for lightly used clothing, okay? And again, a reminder, hopefully after you check in with Reg on Friday night, you can go have a beer and have some dinner at the Ukiah Brewing Company. So the van one is where you can leave your water bottles with Blake or whoever's there. They need to be clearly labeled. Again, they will not be handed out to you. They'll be set on the side of the road, and whatever you leave there will come back, but we're no guarantee when that will happen. The start last year, bad. We'll have, I don't even know how to explain this group of field. So we're going to have marshals out here videoing, and I'm going to be looking at those before the results. Anyone who's over the yellow line, whether it's junior rider not to be named right here or superstar Chico Stud over here, you guys must stay in your lane. No exceptions, right? Right after this turn, right after this part, this is what comes, okay? We have a blind right-hand turn. It can be icy, it can be wet. So we'll have a marshal here with a reminder to stay right, as well as somebody filming this. Once you come down across this creek, it goes up again for 20 plus minutes. Marshals on course, Spartful, as one of our title sponsors, is kitting folks out. They'll have the Grasshopper logo on there. Whether it's them or anyone else, reminding you to stay over the center, stay on the right-hand side of the road, or to ride carefully or car back. Please be respectful and listen to them. We appreciate them volunteering and doing everything they do to make sure that we have the best and safest time out there possible. I don't know who this old guy is in the middle. Next, a little heads up on how the course is being marked. Thanks Signorama for some wonderful course signage. This is our caution sign. And here we have an example of one of the turns dropping into Ore Springs. So beautiful, but so sharp. Somebody slapped down a piece of spaghetti. Notice there's no fresh pavement, which is great, but there's no center line. So be careful descending down here. Arrows, we'll have green arrows marking turns whenever necessary. And here's the bypass at Woolly Pass. There's a bridge, a wooden bridge that goes over here. Now I know that my map previously had you going over this. So if you pre-rode this, you most likely went around the barricades and over here and continued. Okay, that will be a disqualification for shortcutting the course. So note here we have an arrow going left down onto Masonite Road briefly, and then you make a right coming up and back on to Low Gap Road. All right, and from there you'll follow the course. Shortly after the trestle, there's a tree down. We asked for it to be removed. I don't think they're going to get out to it. And amongst the dozen or so trees that I chainsawed with Austin last weekend, this one was a little bit beyond my chainsaw's capability and my confidence. By little, I mean a lot. So go under it, go over it if you want. If there's a wrong way, we have a wrong way sign. This is two different scenes. This is not connected. This is just before what is truly low gap, or yellow house as they call it. This tree was too big to cut up and to move out of the way. You have a good line of sight coming into it with a ribbon and plenty of room to go around it for yourself as well as the support vehicles. After that, you climb up until mile 12.75. If you're following the county signs, not your ride with GPS, 12.75 are the county road signs on Low Gap. Just past that is the feed zone, and you turn left onto Miller Ridge. Miller Ridge is a really fun dirt descent. It's a little bit wet, and there's quite a few wide bars. So these caution signs are to give you a heads up that you're coming to a water bar. So please plan ahead. The descent on Masonite is over a 20-minute pedaling, ripping descent, and so we did put caution at the cutaway corners. And on this one in particular, we have two. It turns from pavement into dirt, comes ripping around the right. So this is indicating sharp turn and double caution for being careful. Another caution. This is a great example how this decent pavement suddenly turns to dirt. This happens on and off for the length of descent. This is a caution to give you a chance ahead of time to control your speed before getting into this corner. Don't forget to look around when you're not in the corners. It's stunning out there. As you drop down lower, there's 4 or 5 bridges that cross the creek, metal bridges. Notice this one, caution sign, metal bridge, groove in the middle. Not a great thing. There's one bridge that's like that. So be especially careful, either go left or right. Here's an example of the ones that have the plate over the middle, and this one is missing it. Okay, plate, no plate. Good, dangerous. Here's the finish of the course. The start was just back over here on Ore Springs. So notice you come around this corner, it's paralleling Ore Springs. When you come over this little rise, you get a straight view into the finish. This is smoking fast, okay? So please be careful in your sprint. We don't want any accidents here. And we know that everyone, not everyone, but lots of folks, even with their battling with a friend for 30th place in their age group, they like to sprint it out. Just be careful here. After you cross the finish line, there's plenty of room to slow down before you get to where the hopper tent and the scratch is with some recovery. And after you do that, you can get onto the vineyard side. So please don't hang out in the road. Keep this area clear and safe. And then as we mentioned, from that spot here at the finish, you can take the path through the vineyard, back to Lover's Lane, Despina, and then back to Low Gap. Grab some lunch across the street, grab a burrito, come on hang out at the park. And I recommend bringing a lawn chair or something so you can hang out, enjoy the sunshine in the park. There are some benches, but bring a blanket or bring a chair. Dimitri will be DJing some music. We'll have the podium. Got beer, guayaki. Going to be a good time. Mad Fritz will be pouring again this year. Guayaki, best day, non-alcoholic. And then we'll have the podium. Amazing medals by the cool folks at Enduro Bearing. Stop by to check out and learn more. If you want to see your results, we already have those posted. We have a live link which will be up. Results 2023 on the Low Gap page. And there'll be photos for you to download and to share for free from finisher pics, event photos. Those probably won't be up until late at night or the next day. So stay tuned. So thanks for listening. We're looking forward to this event. Thanks for joining us on this great adventure, and rubber side down.